Hello, BookTube. I'm back with another tag, and this is the Spring into Adventure tag. This was created by Randy Ray at the Literate Texan, and it's in honor of our reading event for Adventure, Spring into Adventure. And the other host, other than myself, is Book Time with Elvis. And as I said, Randy Ray at the Literate Texan, Greg at another Bibliophile Reads, Alan at Big Hard Books and Classics, myself, and Jim at Mystery and Mayhem. Now, there are 10 questions? Yes, 10 questions here. So, the first one is, what's your favorite adventure book? That's really, really difficult. I don't suppose I have one that's head and shoulders above the others. But I like I like exploration stuff, African exploration. That's about the if it's African exploration and pre 1900, definitely there. And if it's a bit before after, then it still could be okay. So yeah, sorry, I can't get a more specific answer than that. And what is the newest, most recently published adventure book you read? And I had to think about that, but then I realized that it was River of the Gods, Genius, Courage, and Betrayal in the Search for the Source of the Nile. And it was written in 2020 or published in 2022 by Candice Millard. And it was exactly what it says. It was okay. It's not very deep. It's short. It gives a very superficial like view of or the history of the source, the search for the source of the Nile, and it was misleading, especially in the flaps and stuff, and the bump that came along with the book, because it was basically made it sound like it was going to talk more about an Indian slash African. Well, he was taken around, or he was a slave for a while and then escaped and then went along with Burton and Speke and others in African exploration. And he wasn't dealt with as much as I'd liked. But anyway, yeah, so that's the newest one. Number 3, what's the oldest, earliest published adventure book you've read? So it's been mentioned several times with my fellow adventurers is the Epic of Gilgamesh. So that's probably the oldest that I've read, but I've read a lot of stuff. I've read other stuff from the time. We go into Ugaritic stuff, and there's a few things in there that I've read in translation, obviously. Yeah, and like the Iliad, yeah, it's so a lot of that stuff. If you want to call that adventure, and I do call it adventure. Um, and then number 4 is, who's your favorite adventure book author? Again, I don't have any specific one, but I suppose it could very well be Sir Richard Francis Burton or David Livingstone. Among that ilk, and other African explorers. And number 6. Oh, no, number 5. What's your favorite film adaptation and adventure book? Again, that's difficult. There's a movie I really like. It's Mountains of the Moon. But I've not read the book. It's based on a book. I'd like to read that to see. So that could supplant things. But basically, it's, I suppose I would say, The Man Who'd Be King, with Sean Connery and Michael Caine, in the 1970s. That what I'd say. It's not a book, but it's a short story, but it'd probably be one of the best adaptations. Who's your favorite adventure book character? Again, I thought about this and thought about it, but I can't. Again, there's no one that I can that stands above any of the others. Um, do you prefer fiction or nonfiction adventure books? I like both. And when it's nonfiction, I like exploration. I'm not so much on travelogue. Some travelogues are fine, but it's more exploration that I like. So exploration has to be, not just because somebody's going, oh, I'm going to go explore the Amazon now, and or somewhere in Africa, because it's already been explored. So the early explorers of areas are ones that I really really enjoy. And fiction wise, yeah, I enjoy a lot of adventure fiction. Number seven, or no, no, number eight. Do you consider yourself adventurous? Why or why not? Always have been. At the moment, adventurous for me is getting up and going to the toilet or going up and down the stairs. At the moment, that's very adventurous. But in my younger days, yeah, I do things and go places without a safety net a lot of times, and yeah, it's so yeah, I things that I probably shouldn't have done, but I did. Number nine, what's your favorite genre to combine with the adventure genre? Now, I suppose, like, if I don't know if exploration is a genre, but I would say that, and a close second would be science fiction, because I'm always up for, like, I do like space opera, but a lot of science fiction has adventure in it. So I do enjoy that. Very close second. Number 10. Do you play or have you ever played adventure themed games? Video games, board games, tabletop, role playing games, etc. No. Well, when I say no is, well, in the arcade, when I was young, I played once Space Invaders, once Pac Man. Didn't like it. I remember Pong as well. I remember somebody having that on, I think, a Commodore 64. But I probably played that once. They never did anything for me. I've never. Don't think I've ever played an adventure board game, unless you call Monopoly an adventure game, which Monopoly didn't never did anything for me. Um, and role playing games, no. I just I've never had interest in them, and I know a lot of people do, but I don't. So there you go. There is Spring into Adventure tag, and keep an eye out for this Friday. We're having our second live at 6 p.m. I'm going to be putting up a I'm going to schedule it up, but it'll be on my channel for the live on Friday. Thank you, BookTube.